Hey NFL fans, welcome back to NFL Telling, where we dive into the legacy and legends of football's greatest players. If you love the game and want to explore more incredible stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to stay connected with all our updates. Let's get into it. Joseph Clifford Montana Jr., born June 11th, 1956, is a former professional football quarterback who played in the National Football League (NFL) for 16 seasons, mainly with the San Francisco 49ers. Known as Joe Cool and the Comeback Kid, Montana is widely considered one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. He began his NFL career in 1979 after winning a national championship with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Over the next 14 seasons with San Francisco, Montana won 4 Super Bowls and became the first player to be named Super Bowl MVP 3 times. He holds Super Bowl records for most passes without an interception and has the highest passer rating of 127.8 across those games. In 1993, Montana joined the Kansas City Chiefs, where he spent his final 2 seasons and led the team to its first AFC Championship game appearance. He was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2000. Montana was born in New Eagle, Pennsylvania, and grew up in Monongahela, a small coal mining town south of Pittsburgh. His Italian-American family name was originally Montani, derived from the Camonica Valley in northern Italy. From a young age, Montana was interested in sports, and his father introduced him to football. He began playing youth football at age 8, despite not officially meeting the league's age requirement. His father listed him as a 9-year-old to ensure he could join. Montana also played baseball and basketball as a child, with basketball initially being his favorite. His father even started a local basketball team for Montana, which practiced in the local armory and competed in regional tournaments. Montana attended Ringgold High School, where he excelled in football, basketball, and baseball. He led the Ringgold basketball team to a WPIAL Class AAA championship and earned All-State honors. His skills in basketball were impressive enough that he received a scholarship offer from North Carolina State, but he ultimately chose to attend Notre Dame, in part because his childhood idol, quarterback Terry Hanratty, had played there. Ringgold High School later honored him by renaming their football stadium Joe Montana Stadium. Montana's college career at Notre Dame was initially limited, as freshmen were not allowed to play varsity football. However, he started making an impact in his sophomore year. When Notre Dame coach Ara Parseghian retired, Dan Devine took over, and in a pivotal game against North Carolina, Montana came off the bench with just over 5 minutes left, leading the team to a comeback victory. This performance earned him significant attention. He later led another comeback against Air Force, solidifying his reputation as a clutch performer. In 1976, Montana missed the season due to a shoulder injury, but he returned in 1977. Initially the third-string quarterback, he eventually took over as the starter and led Notre Dame to 9 consecutive victories, culminating in a win over Texas in the Cotton Bowl. This earned Notre Dame a national championship. His senior season featured another famous comeback, known as the Chicken Soup Game, against Houston in the 1979 Cotton Bowl, where he fought off hypothermia and led Notre Dame to a last-second victory after trailing 34-12. Montana graduated from Notre Dame with a business degree and was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in the 3rd round of the 1979 NFL Draft as the 82nd overall pick. Though not initially a starter, Montana became the 49ers' primary quarterback midway through the 1980 season. That year, he led his first of many fourth-quarter comebacks, rallying San Francisco from a 35-7 halftime deficit to defeat the New Orleans Saints 38-35 in overtime. His skill in clutch situations would become a hallmark of his career. The 1981 season marked a turning point for the 49ers. Montana led the team to a 13-3 record and 2 fourth-quarter comebacks. In the NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys, he executed the catch, a game-winning touchdown pass to Dwight Clark that remains one of the most iconic moments in NFL history. The 49ers went on to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl VI, with Montana named MVP. He became only the second quarterback to win both a college national championship and a Super Bowl. Montana continued to excel, setting an NFL record for 5 consecutive 300-yard games in the shortened 1982 season. Although the 49ers missed the playoffs that year, he threw for 2,613 yards and 17 touchdowns in just 9 games. The following season, he threw for 3,910 yards and 26 touchdowns, leading the 49ers to the NFC Championship game, where they narrowly lost to Washington. In 1984, he led San Francisco to a 15-1 record and another Super Bowl victory, this time against Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. Montana threw for a then-record 331 yards in the Super Bowl and earned his second MVP award. The 1985 and 1986 seasons were more challenging, with Montana suffering a severe back injury in 1986 that required surgery. Doctors advised him to retire, but he returned to play later that season, earning the NFL Comeback Player of the Year award. In 1987, he threw a career-high 31 touchdowns in just 13 games and set an NFL record for consecutive pass completions. However, the 49ers were eliminated in the playoffs by the Minnesota Vikings. By 1988, a quarterback controversy had developed between Montana and Steve Young, who had joined the 49ers as a backup. Montana ultimately regained the starting role, leading the 49ers to Super Bowl 30, where he engineered a famous 92-yard game-winning drive against the Bengals. He finished the game with 357 passing yards, earning his third Super Bowl MVP award. The 1989 season was one of Montana's finest. He threw for 321 yards and 26 touchdowns, with just 8 interceptions, and was named NFL MVP. The 49ers went 14-2, and Montana threw 5 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, leading San Francisco to a 55-10 victory over the Denver Broncos, the largest margin in Super Bowl history at the time. His performance in the playoffs set a postseason passer rating record, further cementing his status as one of the NFL's all-time greats. In 1990, Montana again led the 49ers to a 14-2 record, throwing for a career-high 476 yards in one game and finishing with 3,944 passing yards for the season. The 49ers aimed for a third consecutive Super Bowl, but lost in the NFC Championship to the New York Giants after Montana was injured. He missed the entire 1991 season and most of 1992 due to an elbow injury, effectively ending his time in San Francisco as Steve Young took over as the starter. In 1993, Montana was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, signing a $10 million contract over 3 years. His presence revitalized the franchise, leading them to their first division title in over 2 decades. Montana led 2 fourth-quarter comebacks in the playoffs, but the Chiefs ultimately lost to the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship. Montana's final season in 1994 included a Monday Night Football victory over John Elway's Denver Broncos and a win over his former team, the 49ers. Kansas City reached the playoffs again, but was eliminated by Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins. Montana announced his retirement in 1995 with a record of 117-47 as a starter. He completed 3,409 passes for 40,551 yards and 273 touchdowns, with a passer rating of 92.3, second only to Steve Young at the time. His career included 31 fourth-quarter comebacks, 4 Super Bowl victories, and numerous accolades, including 8 Pro Bowl selections and 6 All-Pro selections. The 49ers retired his number 16 jersey, and he was named to the NFL's 75th and 100th anniversary all-time teams. Montana's legacy is that of a quarterback who delivered in high-pressure situations, with a Super Bowl record passer rating of 127.8 and no interceptions in 4 Super Bowl appearances. His calm under pressure and ability to lead his teams to victory have left an indelible mark on NFL history. Thanks for watching, NFL fans. Don't forget to leave a comment below with your favorite moment of this player's career. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a story about the legends of the game. Catch you in the next one.